a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Welcome back to Newhouse After Noon, QSportsDoc.com, ESPN 97.7. It's 3 o'clock on a Friday. Izzy C, Josh Radjanoff. We got a lot to talk about today, and it starts off with a big matchup here in Syracuse.
I'm so excited for this game tonight. Number two Syracuse taking on number 1 Maryland in men's lacrosse. Izzy, this is probably, in all of sports, it's not going to get talked about, but in all of sports, it might be the best game going on this weekend.
Yeah, it really is. It's a top 2 matchup. You don't really see that often.
Number 1 versus number 2. I mean,
exactly.
This could be a national championship preview for men's lacrosse.
It can be, but there's some history between these two teams. You know, SU has not beaten Maryland since 2009, so 17 years. It's a big, big game for the Orange. You know, they obviously coming into the year projected to be one of the better teams in the country, but they haven't been able to prove it over the past couple of years against top competition, but they have the chance to rectify those demons today.
And that's always been the biggest, knock, I would say, within the Gary Gay era, especially within the Joey Spallina era. And I think that's, the main point that I want to make kicking off is, I think this needs to be a legacy game for Joey Spallina. I think Joey Spallina's legacy will always be tainted at Syracuse. Look, Joey Spallina will go down as probably the best player, one of the best players at least.
Yeah.
And he's about to become, this season, he'll most likely become the all-time point leader at SU. Joey Spallina is going to go down as probably the best, Syracuse men's lacrosse player in Syracuse men's lacrosse history. But I feel like his legacy will always be tainted if he can't beat Maryland.
I think we can save the legacy talk until after the season.
You can make that case, because I'm sure you're thinking, well, what if he wins the national championship?
Exactly. I feel like I'm a big believer, and we got to see how things play out. And it's as big of a matchup as it is. It's only the 3rd game of the season.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
But if you want to win the national championship, at some point you are going to have to go through in Maryland. You've seen it in the past 4 years in the past 3 years in the Joey Spallina era. You've had to go through Maryland. Last year, the biggest difference was the semifinal. This is a rematch of last year's semifinal game when Syracuse lost 14-8 to Maryland, where Joey Spallina was held to just 1 point. Joey Spallina in his career versus Maryland averages just 2.5 points a game, which I think you could say for any normal player, that's a fine average against a really good team. But he averages about 5 points a game in his career. So if you're not living up to that standard against it cuts in half. If you're not living up to that standard against the best teams, this is a big legacy game for Joey Spallina. Now, here's the thing. I think he steps up tonight. I really think he does.
Saying all that, and then he says he's gonna step up. It's a good lead-in. It's a good lead-in.
Yeah, I think he steps up tonight. I think all the experience from the past, right? All the talk has been, this is the year for Syracuse men's lacrosse. It's like we're all Cowboys fans. This is the year for Syracuse men's lacrosse.
I don't know which we you're referring to, but
this has been the go-to this 2022 draft or 2022 recruiting class.
Yeah,
that was the number 1 in the country. This whole rebuild in this Gary Gay era. Joey Spallina being the captain. Again, he's going to go down as probably the all-time point leader in Syracuse men's lacrosse history, and he's going to go down as probably one of the best players in Syracuse men's lacrosse history. This is the game. This is the game that you have to go win. You have to go beat Maryland, because Maryland has been, the top of the top in men's lacrosse for a while, within the past few years. You have to go beat Maryland. If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you. I think that they are going to get it done today, because I feel like, in sports, these athletes, they hear all the noise, right? About, they can't win this big game. Oh, this player doesn't show up in this game. Joey Spallina's been hearing that for the last
4 years.
4 years, and
Gary
you get a
Gates
pass when you're a freshman
and
stuff like that, but when you get to your sophomore, when you get to your junior, now you get to your senior year. Like you said, this was a stacked recruiting class coming in. This was kind of
number 1 in 2022.
Kind of looked at as, okay, Syracuse golden age of lacrosse could come back with these guys. And they've had some great seasons, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, you want to be able to get a ring, right? You want to be able to beat the top teams like Maryland, and they'll have a chance to do so today. And I think that they will get it done because they remember last year. They remember how their season ended.
Syracuse has the chip on its shoulder.
Yeah,
that is the one
have
advantage.
all the bulletin board material that you can even think of.
I don't know if you recall. I'm not sure if you would, but I think it was 3 years ago, the first game, in the Joey Spallina era against Maryland happened in the Dome. The last time Maryland came to the Dome, that controversial ending when Maryland won 13-12 in overtime. Whenever thought Syracuse had the game-winning goal in OT, I think it was Michael Leo who actually shot it, and they called it a crease violation. He shot it, the ball went in, and then he fell into the crease. Gary Gait was not happy in the presser, rightfully so. That was a really good game that just had an unfortunate ending. But again, this is a Syracuse. I think this is the year to get it done. I think you have the chip on your shoulder from that game. You want to defend home turf, obviously. So you have the chip on the shoulder from the last time Maryland came. You have the chip on the shoulder of the past 17 years of legacy. Think about it. Last time Syracuse beat Maryland, 2009. What happened that year? You win the national championship.
Exactly.
So
could be a good omen if you get it done today.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a legacy stamping moment, not only for Joey Spallina, but for Syracuse men's lacrosse in general. Now, I think we can get into the X's and O's of everything. That
was going to be my next question for you. What are you looking for today we'll start with Syracuse since we're on the topic, but what are you looking for from them today to get it done?
From Syracuse, as much as you don't want to put it all on one guy, it comes down to Joey Spallina. And I think the X's and O's, this is a marquee matchup. The matchup between Joey Spallina versus Will Schouler, who was the 2025 Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's, always one of the better, defenders. He held specifically, he one-on-one with Joey Spallina last year in the semifinal, held Spallina to just 1 point.
Yeah.
So that's
you don't see many guys shut down
you
Spallina
don't do that. Will Schouler is probably the best defender in the country. So you don't get, just if you're watching that game, enjoy it, because that is an incredible matchup.
And Maryland as a whole, their defense is really good, right? They were number 2 in the country last year, so that's kind of, something that they hang their hat on. But
of course.
Yeah.
I just think it's a game of opposites, which it just creates for such a fun matchup, because last year Syracuse was just outside the top 10 in offense, scored over 13 goals a game. Last year Maryland, you just mentioned, number 2 in defense, allowed less than 8 goals a game. That's insane. But then last year, in both the games, because Syracuse played Maryland twice, scored 8 and 7. So that always potent Syracuse offense, is that going to show up against the top teams, which has always been the knock in the Gary Gait era? I think it happens today. I really do, because this offense is just really electric. It starts with Joey Spallina. Michael Leo has played really good. He had a 5-goal game, against St. Joe's. This offense is just really well balanced, I would say, and I think that's going to be the key. It's going to rely on Joey Spallina, but I don't think it's going to be a high goal scoring game for him. I think he'll rely on his team. That's something that he does best. He's an assist getter. I think you'll see maybe a 4 assist night for Spallina, and some other guys will really have to step up.
Yeah, and you mentioned the offense in the first 2 games. They've been really good, albeit against Boston, is ranked 16th in the country right now, or at the time that they played. But, 13 goals against them. Then you had 20 against St. Joe. So you have 33 goals in your first 2 games.
Of course.
And now you go up against the Maryland team, who's one of the more elite defenses. And it's like you said, are you going to be able to score against top competition? Because I think this game will be a good indicator of, okay, what can Syracuse do come postseason time when it gets to the spring, when it gets a little warmer? What are they going to do in the ACC tournament? What are they going to do in the NCAA tournament? Yeah. Because this is probably going to be their biggest matchup of the season until they get to the postseason, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously within ACC play, there's a lot of really good matchups there.
Of course,
Duke is always a really good game. UNC is always a really good game. But come on, you're not going to get number 1 versus number 2. This is the first time in how long? I don't know. It's such a great. It's such a great game that we're gonna. And I think the key today is again going to be the balance.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Wyatt Hoddle. Joey Spallina, Michael Leo. They're going to make. Those are the 2 main guys. They're going to get theirs. I'm looking at Wyatt Hoddle. He had a really good game against St. Joe's. A younger guy who was asked to step up, obviously with Trey Deer not playing the rest of the season. So Wyatt Hoddle's going to have a big game. Finn Thompson's going to have to step up. Peyton Anderson, a lot of those other guys, the kind of surrounding cast to Joey Spallina, a lot of those others are going to have to step up. And then, is John Mullen going to be able to, win at the face-off X?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it always comes down to possessions. Past couple years against Maryland, just haven't been able to get those possessions at the face-off X. It's going to come down to that as well. And then we'll see which Jimmy McCool we get. Jimmy McCool's looked really good in goal so far this year.
And
double-digit saves in both games so far. So, it depends on him as well.
Yeah, quickly before we go to break, what are you looking for from Maryland in this game?
I think Maryland is just going to, be Maryland in that sense, where it's going to rely on its defense.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about Will Schaller. They play really good defense. A lot of things to talk about within, the ride. A lot of things are going to happen within the midfield. That's going to be really key for Maryland to win this game. How many ground balls can you control? How many clears can you get? Can you be like in that, can you clear most of the time, like in the upper 90% on your clears? It really just, in a game like this, on this magnitude, it comes down to possessions. And a lot of times what gets lost, we can talk about offense, defense all we want, because both these teams have really good offenses, both these teams have really good defenses. But at the end of the day, the midfield is kind of like always the forgotten spot. And that's where Maryland really excels. And that's where Maryland has gotten Syracuse within the past couple of years. So who in the midfield is going to step up? Again, like it comes down to Johnny Mullen. He's obviously a guy who needs to step up. Billy Dwan has had a really good start to the year. Jake Spallina, kind of an unsung guy because he's Joey's brother, but on the defensive end has had a really good year. Riley Figueres, the long stick. So the midfield is really kind of one of those X's and O's spot that you need to really harp on if Syracuse wants to get the job done, and Maryland does really well.
Well, we'll see if the Orange can get it done today.
It's going to be a great game.
We're hoping that
so
they do,
excited.
and this is probably, like you said, the biggest matchup in college sports this weekend, probably.
Maybe all year.
Yeah. Honestly,
Maybe all year.
That's not a ridiculous take at all.
It's not ridiculous to say.
But we're gonna go to break here. We're gonna talk about men's basketball next. They got a big win against Cal earlier in the week. They play SMU this Saturday. So stick with us on Newhouse After Noon, 97.7 ESPN. There we go. Bang.
Sweet. Good block.
Good stuff.
That was a lot of me yapping, but I felt like that was
that was
the point, right?
Yeah, kind of was the point. Yeah, because I tried to put in what I could.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, that was completely the plan.
Sweet. We'll go more back and forth here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Cuse. The outcome.
I choose this life. I think it chose me. Oh, I know what we can put in the wheel. Tanking. NBA tanking. Did you see they're gonna have they're gonna change the rules and probably.
Not gonna lie, I haven't been on social media in a while.
They might do.
I've been off this week.
Might do a tournament amongst the lottery teams to determine draft slot.
Can we stop that?
Yeah, dude,
Can we stop?
NBA tanking problem.
I mean, that would be funny.
What would the point of that be though?
More meaningful games,
I don't think that's gonna do anything.
Chris Paul retiring.
Yeah, Chris Paul. Oh, favorite? Chris Paul retiring, and then we
favorite Chris Paul moment. I have a really good one.
What is it?
Cuts the lead to 42.
Oh,
cuts the deficit to 42. That was a great.
Good
peaked in that moment.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh my God. That was on my 40 page the other day.
Really?
The game 7.
That game. Yeah.
That game 7.
Me too.
Everybody acting tough when they up.
Everyone acting tough when they up. I miss him.
Well, wait. What was the topic that we had?
Valentine's Day something.
Yeah, but what about Valentine's Day?
Like the boxes that we used to do. That was peak.
Yeah.
That was peak, dude.
I'm trying to think of a non-sports one.
Can we just talk about it?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
We'll put it as a topic. Valentine's Day thoughts.
Yeah. Sure. Choose his life again. Chose me. I
mean, anyone on Twitch have any suggestions on,
Yeah. Chat.
Helps out, chat. Have any suggestions on what we should spin the wheel on in D Block?
Oh, there's no one in the chat. Damn. Chat's dead.
Yo, chat if you want.
Chat's dust, low key. Dust.
The use of the term dust.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. I'm sure you liked it in the notes doc.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was good. I mean, look.
Incredibly. They kind of capitalized it. Okay, wait. What's another one?
Bad Bunny. Thoughts on the halftime performance? I don't know. It's not newsworthy anymore. Though.
It's been like 5 days, but it was good though.
I'm still talking about it, dude.
I like.
It was so good. Y fuiste tú mi baile inolvidable.
I'm trying to think. Oh, okay.
I don't know what's been going on in pop culture recently. I mean, I don't really ever know what's going on in pop culture, but
that was a bar. Hold on, sorry. One of my friends texted me.
No, that's okay. Don't worry. Oh well. Willax.
Yeah. But Willax update. Willax update. Where's UNC? I chose this life. I think it chose me.
How's SMU at rebounding? How big are they?
Pause.
Resume.
Pause.
Cool. Am I doing the read here?
Yeah, you're gonna do the. Do you want to do the ad? If you want to do the ad, I don't know.
Sure.
Sure.
This hour of Newhouse After Noon is powered by
38 boards per
Village,
game
Cicero.
for.
Can you find the ACC rank?
Yeah, ACC read.
And can you put it in the doc?
Rankings. Overall statistics. There we go. And.
3:17 in the afternoon here on Newhouse After Noon, QSportsTalk.com, ESPN Radio 97.7. This hour of Newhouse After Noon is powered by Drivers Village Cicero. Go to dvoffers.com for more info. Josh Rashanov alongside Izzy C here, switching over, talking about some men's hoop. Big game with SMU tomorrow. And, I feel like this is an even bigger game for the Mustangs, Izzy, because right now, bubble team, it's looking like 7 or 8 ACT teams are probably going to get a bid. I think 7's a lock, and the 8 is really that bubble. SMU, one of those teams. So this feels like it could be a trap game for the Mustangs. I mean, Syracuse coming off that big win, double overtime game over Cal on Wednesday night. Maybe riding the momentum. We haven't seen a lot of consistency from the men's basketball team.
You took the words right out of.
It feels like it could be potentially a trap game for SMU.
Yeah, it could be. And, this is an SMU squad. Throughout the season, they've shown that they kind of have that tournament team kind of look.
Yeah.
They 17-7 on the year. Boobie Miller's one of the best players in the conference, in my opinion. All-around guy. They're all the metrics favor SMU. They're top 7 team in rebounding. Their offense is really good.
Second offense in the ACC.
Exactly,
yeah.
Second best offense in the ACC. So they have the look of a tournament team, but they have a couple of tough losses in there. The NC State lost, a couple of weeks ago, lost by 1 point. You go on the road to Louisville, you lose that game. They hung tough with Duke as well at Cameron Indoor, which was
a tough thing
very,
to do.
very impressive. So this is a very good Mustangs team, and they're coming off 2 straight wins against Pitt and Notre Dame. Notre Dame, a team that Syracuse has beaten earlier in the year. So in terms of track game, I could see that for them, because Syracuse, let's be honest, they have not been great this year.
It just really depends on. It comes down to the bigs at the end of the day. Is William Kyle going to be able to, play with kind of like the bigger guys for SMU? You mentioned it, 7th best rebounding team in the ACC.
I mean, William Kyle's held his own.
He has.
Matchup this year.
But what I will say is because I think rebounding is more of like a team thing. Like rebounding is a team. I know it gets put on like the individuals a lot, the bigs, but like it comes down to at the end of the day, it's a team
rebounding.
thing. Yeah,
you need to have your guards come and help. Yeah, it's basketball 101. Yeah,
SMU is a top 5 offensive rebounding team. They're 4th in the ACC in terms of offensive rebounding. The last time we saw Syracuse play a team, who's within that top 5, Virginia, who's number 1. got destroyed on the offensive glass. I mean, absolutely killed. Syracuse gave up 17 second chance points in that game. They gave up 17 offensive rebounds. Like, that's something that can't happen. And SMU averages just over 12 offensive rebounds a game. That's something that if you want to take down the Mustangs, if you're the Orange and you want to take down the Mustangs, like, you're going to have to, you can't give up that many possessions. That was the key in Virginia. Like, the defense honestly played well. It was just finishing the possession. What Adrian Autry always talks about, getting those kills. Well, you can't get those kills if you're giving up that many second chance points.
Yeah, they even Cal did a solid job on the boards. And Cal's one of the worst
rebounding team.
One of the worst rebounding teams in the ACC. They had 14 offensive rebounds, and that's part of the reason why this game went to double overtime. It seemed like no one really wanted to win, in regulation.
I don't even think the Dome wanted to win with how much the lights went out in that game. That was crazy, by the way.
But it was. And, in all seriousness, though, in a season where you try to look for, the good moments. I feel like that was a good moment against Cal, especially late J.J. Starling. He had to travel at the end, right? But then he comes down next possession, has a really good defensive 1,000%. Stop, and then you're able to get the game to overtime.
The defense was really good down the stretch. Like, there were a couple of really...
When it needed to be,
when it needed to be there. Like, to send the game to overtime, that final defensive possession.
Yes.
And then in the double OT... that was also, the possession before the game winner, which, by the way, they're the game tied to send it to the second OT, which, by the way, was kind of an anomaly. It was actually really good defense.
Yeah.
And because of how good the defense it was an airballed shot, kind of tough. William Kyle was tied up under the basket. It almost acted like a pass. Like, there was nothing he could have done.
It's tough.
So, like, it was really good defense down the stretch for Syracuse. And, like, that's good. That's what you prided yourself on this year. We talked about that a lot last week. Like, Adrian Autry prides himself on defense, all that stuff. So, like, it was good to see that, but it's going to be really tough to replicate that against the second best offense in the ACC and SMU. Against scores over 86 points a game.
It will be, but, and outside of Kyle, I'm also looking at Sadiq White as well. Will he get more minutes in this game, especially in a game where they're going to need athleticism, where they're going to need size, they're going to need speed. So,
and that was the thing against
Virginia. And he had 10
Virginia.
points in 9 minutes against Cal, so, maybe he will see him more in the rotation. But
that was the thing against Virginia. Like, you wanted more size in there. You wanted more, you wanted to get bigger against the bigger Virginia team. So why did you play Sadiq White for only 2 minutes? Like, I know all the talk was about, Kyan Anthony and, Carmelo Anthony going in the Instagram post, commenting, all that stuff. More of the talk should have been about, Sadiq White. He's one of your bigger guys, and against a bigger team, he wasn't playing. And then Adrian Autry comes in postgame and says, well, it was about the physicality and size. Well, you're benching basically one of your other big guys, and then Tyler Betsy as well.
Yeah,
so
it's putting a lot on the plate of Kyle, of Freeman.
Yeah.
It's putting a lot on them in the front court. That's kind of been the issue this season. They have a lot on their plate, when it comes to the depth of this team. But, if Syracuse can, pull out a win against SMU, I mean, it's a quality win against a quality opponent. But then after that, you play the best team in the ACC.
But before we get into Duke, do you have a prediction for tomorrow?
Do I have a prediction?
Kind of putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are putting me on the spot.
I'll give mine if you want me to go first.
You go first.
I think it's going to be very similar to Virginia game. I think the matchup is very similar. High-powered offense in SMU. Virginia was a really good offense, obviously. Good defense as well. And I think at the end of the day, the difference is going to be the rebounding.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close. I think this is a trap game for SMU. Come in feeling like, okay, playing a lesser opponent, but it's a game that they need. And I think at the end of the day, down the stretch, that's what's going to happen. I see it as a close win. I think it's going to be too much on the offensive glass, though, for Syracuse to handle. Take SMU. I'll go 72-65.
Okay. You see, for me, the reason why it took the long pause there. You see, I like to be an optimist.
Okay.
As you know,
I like it. No, I like it.
But
I think Syracuse can very much win this game.
Yeah,
I want to make that very clear.
They can, but as you said, we've seen the Orange against this kind of team before. This kind of profile team, great on the offensive glass, great guard play, solid big man. And we've kind of seen them struggle in those matchups, whether it's at home, a neutral site, or away. Like, we've seen that. I'm gonna lean Mustangs though. It's because it's like you said, they need this game. Yeah. And if they want to make the tournament, you need a good road win. I'll go SMU. I'll go 76. 68.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games where I'm not sure Syracuse is going to have enough offensive firepower to keep up with the Mustangs.
Yeah.
I think it will come down to guard play. Obviously, Boopy Miller, one of the best players in the league.
Will probably be the best player on the court.
Yeah, 19 points per game, 6 in the ACC. And then at the end of the day, you need more consistency from your guards if you're Syracuse.
Yeah.
Which Nate George is going to show up? Is it the Nate George, that scored 19
Nate George
points?
And Nate Kings, I was really impressed with them against Cal.
Oh, yeah.
Can they keep that momentum
Exactly.
going?
Like
Yes.
Nate Kings, it's been like every other game. So like, are you going to? It's like Anthony Davis back then. Like it was like every other game, Anthony Davis. Like which Nate Kings are you going to get?
Yeah.
JJ Starling, similar thing. He's very inconsistent. So it just depends on which one you're going to get. That's going to come down to that for Syracuse.
And then you have Duke.
And then you have Duke on Monday.
coming after that. I mean, the Blue Devils national championship play. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
This is the best team in the conference. Cam Boozer's best player in the conference. Probably the best
player
in the country.
He could be the best player in the country.
Yeah, probably is.
How insane is this freshman class, by the way?
It is.
We're
going to talk about it later. Probably it's gotten to the point where it's affecting the NBA and how tanking's going to go. That's how good this freshman class.
Stay tuned for Spin the Wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, Cam Boozer. There's not enough superlatives for him. I feel like just a complete player. Probably gonna win National Player of the Year.
Probably. 23 points a game.
Yeah,
top of the ACC.
10 boards, 4 assists. And what's scary is as the season goes on, it feels like the game is kind of slowing down for him a little bit. He's like, it's gotten to the point where he's kind of controlling the pace of the game, which is scary.
Is he better? This might sound crazy.
Okay.
Is he better than Cooper Flagg?
Last year? Mm-hmm. It's a conversation.
It's a conversation, right?
It is a conversation.
What was Cooper Flagg averaging? I don't think he.
I'll pull it up.
Was he averaging 23 and 10? I don't think we've seen I
think Cooper Flagg, with him last year, I think Cam's also, they're giving him more ball handling than.
Sure, yeah, they're different. They're different players.
But and Cooper, had the slow start to the year. Wasn't really shooting it that great, but he really turned it on, in conference play.
And also, Cooper Flagg also young.
Averaging 19, 8, and 4. It's very similar numbers. Cam's averaging more points.
23 points and 10 rebounds?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
you can make the argument. I saw on Twitter, I think the other day, is where would Cooper Flagg go in this year's draft?
I think at worst 3.
Really?
I think. Yeah, if Darren Peterson. However you feel about AJ DeBonta or Cam Boozer, however you feel about them, and then we could put Cooper. But Jamal Mashburn said 6th. That was a little bit of a stretch.
That was a stretch.
That's
the one I saw.
I would put Cooper 2 behind Darren because I think Darren Peterson's all world. So I would.
Shout out, and another on the topic. Kansas beating Arizona.
Exactly.
That was big time.
Yeah, as Josh likes to say, fade Zona.
Fade Zona, dude. Fade Zona.
First loss of the year
back to Syracuse.
But it's going to be a tough matchup. Even if the Orange can pull off the win against SMU, it's going to be a tough ask to go to Cameron Indoor, play the best player in the country, team that they had a tough loss to UNC, but.
You mentioned you're an optimist.
Yeah.
Does SU have a chance against Duke?
It's sports. You can't say a team doesn't have a chance. It's a conference game too.
That's fair. We've seen crazier things happen, but
exactly.
Man, it's just it might be too big, too much to keep up with.
Yeah.
I don't see. I'm hoping for the best, obviously.
But could you imagine if they did win?
Oh, could you imagine
the narrative switch of this team? That I feel like that would be probably. More
if you beat Duke,
things that happen.
If you beat Duke, heavy on the if.
Yeah.
Where does that go in terms of Adrian Autry's future? Where does that go in terms of tournament hopes?
Point. The domino effect.
Yeah, we talked about that with the Tennessee win when we thought that was going to be a marquee win.
Yeah.
Turns out it's
man, if they got the Houston win too.
Yeah, of course. Those are.
Yeah. It's tough.
Where do you put that?
It's tough, and it's going to be a big week next week for the Orange because then you have Duke. You go on the road against Duke, and then you have Carolina coming to town.
Yeah, exactly.
Now Carolina won't have Caleb Wilson. We'll talk more about that as we get closer. But I feel like that did a lot for the Orange's outlook for that game because Caleb Wilson, if Cam Boozer's the best player in the country, Caleb Wilson has the argument for number 2.
Well, 2 good games coming up for Syracuse men's basketball starting tomorrow at 2, hosting SMU, and then as you mentioned, going to Cameron Indoor and having to face the dreadful Duke Blue Devils. So it should be a couple of good games for Syracuse men's basketball, a team that we are negative, a lot towards. But how about a team that we can shed some positivity towards? We'll talk about women's basketball on the other side of this break, QSportsTalk.com.
Let's do it. Thank you. Oh.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, the talking ball, I guess, like, just emits
Just
light.
sheds the light.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone who's watching on Twitch want to give their suggestions for, a D block topic? It doesn't have to be about sports.
It can be about anything.
It can be about anything. All right,
let's see. I'm trying to think of like other. What would be fun to like debate? Like, what's something we disagree on?
A lot.
Yeah, but that we can talk on air.
Hey.
Yeah.
Don't make me look that bad, man.
No, I said we. What do you mean?
I mean, can we talk about like going to the bar? Like,
no.
Why? We're 21.
Yeah, but like, no. That wouldn't be fun to talk about at all.
I miss Boopy Miller, man. I'm excited to watch him play.
Okay, like, all right, bro.
Great name.
I'm reminiscing and everything. But I'm trying to think. Like, what is something we disagree on, Isabel?
Do you have a topic for our D block that we could talk about potentially?
We're doing like a spin the wheel kind of thing. Like, it doesn't have to be It doesn't have to be sports related. It could be anything related.
I mean, I guess Grammys is kind of too far out. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That would have been a last week thing.
Ooh.
Sorry.
I think that's like.
Oh no, I can't do that.
I can totally do that. That's like a month from now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do it then though.
A lot of prep. A lot of time to prep for that.
Yeah, because you don't watch movies, dude. One Battle After Another was so good.
Yeah, sure.
It was. It's an objectively great film.
Ooh. Trinidad Chambliss was granted a 6-year of eligibility.
Talk about what? Orders. Okay.
Spring training's back for baseball.
Okay.
I like that. Wait, what do we disagree on? Like a lot of food orders.
We do.
Just
like what though? When you go to Chick-fil-A, what do you get?
Chicken sandwich.
Hey, so do I.
Okay, but yeah, so does everyone.
Yeah, like, we disagree on a lot of things.
Yeah, we just can't think of it right now.
We just can't think of anything. Maybe something music related. I don't know though.
That scares me.
Yeah, because you don't listen to anything, dude.
That's not true. I've been listening.
You don't watch any movies.
Landon's been.
What has Landon put you on to?
Don Tolliver.
Oh wow. Okay, that's actually
Daniel Caesar.
That is
Frank Ocean.
What?
He's put me, dude. He's put me on, dude.
Dude, I need to thank Landon.
You should.
I don't know. Think of with something. What does he like?
Sorry.
What does he like? I need to thank him for this.
This
is crazy.
He's big into like that type of music. Like
dude. Frank's amazing. Yeah.
I listened to Blonde for the first time last semester.
It took you that long, but okay.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
But man, that album changed my life.
Brent Faiyaz is good too if you like that kind of stuff.
Daniel Caesar is really good. I like him.
Daniel Caesar's really good.
We
might get him for a block party.
Yeah, right.
No, dude. No, they sent out like the list of like options like of artists they could get. Like they sent out this form.
When was this?
No, well they sent out the form like last semester. But when Kabir and I were driving home, one of the girls, she's in UU, so she was telling us like to go to the form.
That would be awesome.
See. So it was like Daniel Caesar. It was like there was like some other like pretty.
I'd go. That'd be the first. That'd be the first one I'd go to.
Yeah, I would totally go.
Yeah,
I would 100% go. And there was like some other big names too. I'm forgetting, but. Oh, no! This is true. Yeah, we did just do it. We did just do it. Okay, we just do it again. Yeah. Okay, but that. Yeah. All right. I'll put in
your dream Syracuse concert.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I want that.
Okay.
Yeah, dream Syracuse concert. We'll put that. I'll say Tyler.
Wait, actually, no, I got it. Josh, better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the topic. Oh, I have to bring this in, right?
Yeah, you're hosting.
Welcome back to Newhouse After Noon. QSportsTalk.com, ESPN 97.7. Izzy C, Josh Rajanov. We're back talking about some women's basketball. Big win against Pitt last night.
Yeah, big win. 84-51 on the road too. So obviously just keep on stacking up the wins, 20-5 now, which is just incredible. 10-4
I think the one,
in the ACC.
yeah, exactly. So the one thing I was really happy to see was after the tough loss against Louisville,
you bounce back.
In a huge way. It's not like this was a close game. Like they came out with the right energy right away against Pitt.
I mean, how about the second quarter?
Yeah,
22-4.
It kind of reminded me of the Boston College game a little bit.
Yeah.
Where this first quarter was a little bit closer, and then Syracuse pulled away in the second quarter and never looked back. I think it was 21-6 in the second quarter against Boston College. This was 22-4.
Within the second, and third quarters, you gave up only 18 points. Like when the second quarter 22-4, when the third quarter 25-14, like that is exactly like that's like coaching like masterclass, like Felicia Jack, like you want to end a half strong, which you did again, 22-4 run to end the half, and then you want to start out a half really, really well, and that's what they did in the third quarter. Like that is exactly what you want to do, and sometimes like. Again, against like a lesser opponent like Pittsburgh,
Pitt
nothing to write home about, just 1-12 in the ACC. So sometimes those could be the games where it's like, all right, like you maybe like start a little slower. You think like you think like maybe you can get away with like an easy win. Not Syracuse last night. That was really impressive.
Yeah.
And it's like what we talked about last week, just balanced again on offense.
Yeah, and the captain, Sophie Burrows, had a tough game against Louisville, went 4 for 18, bounced back 7 of 10, 4 of 6 from 3, and we talked about it last week.
4 of 6 from 3 is insane.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. If she can get it going for this Orange team, their ceiling becomes significantly higher because she's probably their best shooter, one of their best shooters, and if she can space the floor to a consistent level, she hasn't really found her shot this season, but down the stretch here, as they get to the ACC tournament, as they get to March Madness, which they probably will be a tournament team, barring something unforeseen.
No, they'll be a tournament team.
They will be. If she can find her shot when it matters in the postseason, Syracuse becomes one of the more
1,000%
underrated, teams that, if things go right for them, could make a nice March run.
And we were talking about this when prepping for that. Like, Layla Filia only had 3 points on 1 of 7 shooting, and still win by 30 plus.
Yeah. And they didn't really need the Layla Filia that we've seen all season. And, she had also had a rough game against Louisville, but
could you imagine if all 4 of them, Uche Zoj, Sophie Burrows, Dominique Darius, 11 points on 4 of 9 shooting yesterday.
9 assists as well.
And then
only
Layla
3
Filia.
turnovers as well. Which
if Layla Filia also joins in that, obviously, that's insane. And then, the unsung hero, someone who's really come along as that 6-man role, off the bench. Shout out Maddie Potts.
Yeah.
That 14 points off the bench, also went 4 of 6 from 3. Incredibly efficient. She went 5 of 7 overall on the night. If you can get more consistency from Madeline Potts, that is.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't play against Louisville, so to have the opportunity against Pitt, come off the bench, staying ready, which is something that you need in basketball. So that was a good game from her. And like you said, she could also become that underrated piece. If you need shooting when it comes to March, you have someone that you can rely on. And
just a consistent first person off the bench. That's what every team needs. That every team in basketball needs someone who can come in and give you a spark. And I feel like that was kind of almost the missing piece from Syracuse earlier in the year. Well, Maddie Potts all of a sudden has emerged as that player. In her past 2 games, she scored more in double-digit figures.
Yeah, and we've talked about the bench unit for them. Shout out Jasmine Cooper, who's been steady all year. Angelica Velez, she came back in into the rotation against Pitt. We talked about Big O sometimes giving you some quality minutes. Camden Nelson, the freshman, as well. This is a team where you can rely on 5 to 6 players off your bench easily to give you some spot minutes. And obviously give your starters, a little bit of a breather. So, as they go down the stretch here, want to continue to see that bench play continue to grow. And they're back at the Dome this weekend as well. Big weekend, in terms of, home games.
Really
for
big
Syracuse.
weekend for Syracuse
they have a Clemson team, who's
women's lacrosse going on right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, which we will also talk about later on. Clemson, this is a pretty good Clemson team. They're 18-8 on the year. They're 6th in the ACC. Coming off a good win against Georgia Tech, this is a solid team. Coming to the Dome. So this will be a tough game for Syracuse, and we've seen them, against better competition. We've kind of seen them, struggle a little bit, and obviously Clemson isn't the cream of the crop, but this is still a good quality ACC team.
And that's what the narrative with Syracuse has been about. Is can you beat the better teams? Sure, you can beat the lesser teams, but can you beat the better half of the ACC? And this is a big test, I think, for Syracuse. Almost feels like, we kind of talked about men's basketball with SMU. This could be a trap game. Like Clemson, could be a trap game for Syracuse women's basketball. It could be. That's a game where you have to come out, pretty strong.
Trap game, because Clemson's still, pretty good team. They have some good wins on the year. Like I said, 6 in the ACC. Mia Moore is really good. They have guard depth. They average 70 points a game. So this is
it feels like a game that
good
Syracuse
offense. They
need to win.
They need that win. They have a couple, good wins here. They've obviously taken care of business, like we said, against, the not so great teams of the ACC. But a home game, you lost at home last Sunday. Protecting home court, obviously very, very important, as we get down the stretch of the season here. But yeah, it's a big matchup for them for sure.
It really is. And again, like we kind of mentioned it, against the top opponents, it's not something like Louisville, a 20-point loss. We kind of mentioned it, UNC, a 6-point loss, but a team that you could go toe-to-toe with.
You have a couple of quality opponents coming up.
Yeah.
You have Clemson, at home. Then you have NC State. Notre Dame, they've been a little bit inconsistent, but this is still a pretty good team. Hannah Hidalgo is one of the best players in women's basketball. So you have them, and then you have Boston College to finish the season. But you have 3 quality opponents in a row coming up.
Yeah, it's a big test for Felicia Leggett-Jack's squad, coming up down the stretch. And I think that this is, a big time for Syracuse women's basketball to kind of prove it. Not prove it to make the tournament. Again, we kind of mentioned barring anything crazy, this team will be playing, March Madness games. But it's a chance to improve your seeding maybe. Right now I think Syracuse is around an 8 or 9 projection.
I'd go a little higher, 7 probably. Not to be that guy, but 6 or 7 seed.
So you just didn't have to say that, by the way. But you could have just said 6,
no, but that's what I wanted. But then you were gonna look at me and you're probably gonna go like this.
Why would I look at you like that?
So you haven't done that before?
No, I keep it.
Yeah.
So
the stuttering, is the whole story. But continue to make your point.
Look, this stretch coming up, you kind of mentioned it. I just think it's a good opportunity for Syracuse to lift up its resume. I don't think you're going to get any lower than 8 or 9. But could potentially be talking about maybe hosting.
Yeah, which would be huge. Hosting a first round game, that could be the jumping board for and it starts with Clemson. It's a quality opponent at the Dome. Hopefully Syracuse can continue momentum. I mean, either way though, this has been a huge improvement from last season, and
1000%. You love to see it.
Which is great.
We've talked about it on on air before. This is the probably best team on the Hill right now. I mean, you could make an argument.
Lacrosse is getting started,
you can make an argument for lacrosse going forward. Probably need to see more from them, but this is probably the best team on the Hill right now.
Yeah, in terms of winter sports,
of course.
Yeah, definitely. And 20 wins on the year already, and hopefully they can continue the momentum going forward. And that's any final thoughts on this block?
I think I think it all just comes down to consistency. And this team has just been incredibly consistent. Obviously with Uche Azoje been kind of the go-to scorer, obviously averaging a double-double. She's just been incredible, and it just comes down to that balanced attack, which Syracuse does so well, but you need to see it against the top opponents as well.
Yeah, so 3 big games coming up as they come down the stretch here. When we come back, we'll have our Spin the Wheel, a segment that we introduced last week. Should be fun. So stick with us on 97.7 Newhouse After Noon. There we go.
Sweet.
Boom. Good stuff.
All right, what's on the wheel?
I have NBA tanking problem, Chris Paul retiring, Valentine's Day, thoughts, women's lax update.
Put John Wildhack in there, I guess.
And then Josh, better music taste now. Okay, John Wildhack. I really hope I get the Josh one. I might rig it.
I mean, we went through all the topics. I think we should do lax though. Let's see what's happening.
I'll take it off the wheel so we can just lead in with that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. How are they doing?
Relax. Syracuse. Let's just go stat broadcast. Syracuse.
Please.
I don't have a lot of faith. I hope I'm wrong.
I have a lot of faith. I'll go off to say
What's going on? Is that broadcast down?
I think we're winning, is why it's being slow. But I got you though.
Oh.
What did I tell you?
Good game.
It's tied. So
good game.
And they actually were winning until that's literally 40 seconds ago they were winning because they scored.
Wait, that's Sidearm Sports, right?
Yeah, that's the one that I clicked. Hey, let's go, man. I told you. Oh, I don't have a lot of faith.
I'm glad. I mean, they're getting outshot 21-8. This game should not be tied right now.
Hey, it's all about opportunities. At the end of the day.
Danielle guy yet, man?
Yeah, can you cash in on the opportunities that you're given? It's not a what if. It's not a what ifs game. Gotta have faith. They just scored again. Okay, 7-6. Damn. 3-1 in the first quarter, though.
Yeah, I mean that's what Reggie Thorpe talked about a lot, which was
they were up 6-5 at halftime.
Well, he talked about like the first 5 minutes and like getting off to quick starts. Let's see what happened in the first 5 minutes. Yeah, Syracuse scored 2 goals in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we just need to start the fourth quarter fast and then bang, and then we'll maybe win the game.
I don't have a lot of faith, bro.
Lucky we weren't on air for that. Maybe I'll expose you. I feel like that's what you said.
I'll say it. I admit it. Like
I'm just saying, you got to be an optimist, bro.
I'm a fair media guy. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, when you said we're all Cowboys fans, yeah, okay, buddy.
No, I said like all Cowboys fans.
Nice stretch. No, I wouldn't stretch. It's okay though. Hook 'em. No. Horns down, baby. Horns down. Yeah, Bob. Speaking of that, by the way, I know we're months and months and months and months away from college football starting up again. But if y'all
we're winning the Natty.
Dude, well, definitely not. Definitely not winning the Natty. But
why?
It's Texas. You're not winning the Natty. You guys aren't gonna win anything. Let's be real. If you make the playoff, though, that'll be good, right?
We will.
Yeah, and then you lose in the quarterfinals because you get the bye week.
Chloe Humphrey has 5 assists today.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Hooping. She's hooping. Playing well.
She's so good at she's the best player in the country. Oh wait, no. Okay, yeah, I knew that couldn't have been right. She has 3 points.
Not bad. 5 assists on 7 goals is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one thing I wanted to say about Syracuse women's basketball. Damn, they moved the ball really well. 22 assists on 34 made baskets.
Well, you didn't, so.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. I wanted to say it, and I didn't. It's my fault.
I'm hosting, right?
Yes, you are. You are hosting.
All right, so 3:55.
Because I hosted the last block, right? So then that's how the rotation.
All right, buddy.
That's
all right, buddy.
I think that's how the rotation works. I'll pull up the wheel, and then I guess you'll get the first spin then. For me. Boo doo boo 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 boo.
Dude. I guess it's only 13 shots on goal, so UNC hasn't been really tunneling their shots pretty well.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's about the opportunities that you get.
How's it going on the free possession?
And we've made the most of it.
There's this. It's just so. This game is so weird. It should not be this close.
Which is a recipe for a win.
UNC. I'm not disagreeing with you. UNC's.
Well, you're doing a lot of UNC propping up right now, bro.
They're beating Syracuse in pretty much every single category except for saves.
And guess what? They're only down 1. Guess what? It's game opportunities, and we're making the most of them.
.348 here at Newhouse After Noon, QSportsTalk.com, ESPN Radio, Syracuse 97.7. Josh Rajanov alongside Izzy C. Wrapping up shop here on Newhouse After Noon. Before we get into our Spin the Wheel segment, we really want to get into it. We have a lot of, thoughts that we want to talk about. We'll spin the wheel, talk about some random topics. But before we get into that, just a quick women's lacrosse update. Playing UNC right now, number 1 UNC. Syracuse number 14 in the country, and playing UNC very well. Right now, North Carolina is up 7-6, but Syracuse entered halftime
up 6-5.
Up 6-5. But UNC in the third period has scored 2 straight goals. So we'll keep you posted. But I mean, we were talking about it during break. I really did not think that Syracuse, I was...
Just got to have faith, man.
Yeah.
Just got to have faith.
I didn't think... Look, I think it's a rebuilding year for Syracuse. But, hey, really good game going on right now, and it's anyone's game.
Yeah, 7-6 right now, third quarter. And like you said, UNC, they had... best team in the country. They've outshot Syracuse, 21-8, you said, or something like that?
Yeah, it's just the stats are very interesting about this game. Right now, UNC is out shooting Syracuse 23-10. shots on goal 14-7. Draw controls 10-5 in favor of UNC. It just feels really weird in terms of ground. You can go all over. Like Syracuse has turned the ball over 13 times compared to 9 for UNC. It just feels like an odd game.
It does.
But Syracuse has a chance.
It's right there for Syracuse. It's right there. And let's get into spin the wheel.
Let's spin the wheel.
Yeah, you spin it first.
All right.
You got it, bud.
I'll click the spin here.
We have some
a few
sports topics.
Yeah.
We have some non-sports topics in there.
Let's see what we can talk about.
We'll see what we get.
All right, Chris Paul retiring.
This is the one that hurts.
So the Toronto Raptors waived Chris Paul earlier today. Earlier today. So Chris Paul announced that he is officially retiring. Had that stint with the Clippers. There was some drama with that earlier this year. Raptors waiving him. So what's your favorite Chris Paul moment?
Favorite Chris Paul moment?
So I have mine. It's not very positive.
I'm going to say Game 7 against the Spurs. I believe it was 2014. The lob he had to no, not the lob, the fadeaway that he had to Blake to tie the game, and then Blake Griffin came in with the dunk. But that was probably my favorite Chris Paul moment.
My favorite, as a Mavs fan, I have to do, or as a former Mavs fan, I have to do it. Chris Paul hits a huge three to cut the lead to 42.
Josh had to make it about the Mavs. Josh had to make it about the Mavs.
I think about that game on the daily. All right, let's spin it again.
Yeah, well, we know you do. So let's spin it for you.
Let's spin it again.
Let's see what we got here. There's one that I really, really, really want to talk about. Okay. Another retirement. John Wildhack, athletic director at Syracuse, retiring effective in July. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I was kind of surprised by it.
Yeah, I think it was pretty shocking.
10 years at the helm as the athletic director. The thing I'm just most curious about is what's going to happen, what the decisions going forward about the basketball team. Because again, it was his words. He said meaningful games in March. With him retiring, it just feels like an odd time for that. So I'm very curious, what's going to happen with that. But 10 years, he's had a couple of good hires. I think Brent Brown really kind of is the top of that list.
Brought in Coach Jack. So I would say a pretty solid tenure. But definitely
curious
shocking.
Who's going to replace him too?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big.
It is a big.
All right, let's get the one that you want. I think we're going to get it.
Yes. Yes. So the running joke that I have with Josh is that I thought, when I first met him freshman year, that his music taste was pretty poor.
It was.
And, and I'm glad that he admits it now. But
it kind of still is.
Would you like to tell the audience who you've been listening to recently?
So recently, shout out my roommate Landon. He's been getting me into a lot of.
Landon, you're doing the Lord's work. I just want you to know now.
Landon's got me in a little more Daniel Caesar, kind of more R&B style. Frank Ocean. Who was the other one that I mentioned? Don Toliver.
Yes.
So he's put me on.
Yeah, Josh. Is now.
We talked about it for Block Party at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do you think I would love if Daniel Caesar came here?
That would be fire. Daniel Caesar, if you're listening.
Syracuse, if you're somewhere out there, please.
Syracuse, New York.
We need it.
April. Really good weather. I know it's not great now, but it's good weather in April. So.
It can be good weather in April.
Yes, please. You have a new fan too. You have a new.
Why
fan.
not?
So you definitely want to come.
Why not us? Hey, why not us?
Why not us?
Why not us?
Why not us? All right, okay. We got time for hopefully one or two more.
I mean, I feel like my music taste has improved. Noah Kahan's a good shout. Come on, Noah Kahan's good.
Agree to disagree. If we can get you to Drake next, that'll be great.
I like Drake. I listen to Drake. I wouldn't say I'm a
but we talking about
avid listener of Drake.
New Drake or old Drake. I want you to listen.
I listen to old Drake. I've listened to One Dance.
That's to name the most popular one. I'm talking about. Let's get into more of his discography.
Syracuse wins the crush just scored.
Okay, all right.
Tied
so
7-7.
Now it's 7-7 in the women's lacrosse game, and now obviously tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So what are your thoughts, Josh?
Do you remember how peak it was whenever you were a kid? And during elementary school, those Valentine's Day boxes.
Yeah, with the candy.
Oh, those were awesome. You would decorate your box, come in.
That was my favorite. My mom would always
what was that? The Fun Dip.
Yes.
The Valentine's Day Fun Dip.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
Fun Dip was my thing. I loved Fun Dip.
Yeah.
And then the little obviously just any kind of. I'm a big candy guy. In case we haven't really talked about it, but I love candy. Josh is giving me the look. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Own it, dude.
It's great. No, I love it. And Matt and I used to get into it all the time because he doesn't like Swedish Fish. I love Swedish Fish.
See, I'm more of whenever it comes to candy, I like chocolate.
You like chocolate?
I'm a big chocolate guy.
I'm more of a chocolate caramel kind of person. I love chocolate. Anything chocolate and caramel.
Valentine's Day tomorrow. Get a good game tomorrow for Valentine's Day. You know, SMU, Syracuse in the Dome should be a good one if you're going to be there.
Big athletics weekend.
Big athletics weekend. Be sure to tune in tonight, by the way. Should be a great one for Syracuse men's lacrosse. For Izzy C, Josh Rajnaw, this has been Newhouse After Noon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you next Friday. Here we go.